Hey everyone, today we're going to be discussing a topic on steroid use and how it affects muscle development. And our project was taken specifically from a chapter in the book of The Sports Gene by David Epstein. The chapter is called Super Baby, Bully Whippets, and Trainability of Muscles. So our first topic today is going to be discussing the super baby. And this child was born with an increased amount of muscle that is normally seen in newborn children. And this is because he had a genetic mutation in a gene that coded for myostatin production, which is a protein that is essential for regulating muscle development. So when this child had less myostatin in his muscle, he had an increased muscle development in his body. And this is where satellite cells come into play, because satellite cells are what result in greater muscle development. Now that we've talked a little bit more about why some people are more susceptible to building muscles, now it's important to look at the type of cells that are involved. I mentioned satellite cells, and they are actually multipotent stem cells. And what this means is they have the capacity to differentiate into multiple types of cells. Specifically, they can differentiate into muscle fiber cells and myonuclei, which are essentially, if you look in this drawing right here, they are going to be the control center of the muscle fiber, this red section being a muscle fiber, and on the outside the myonuclei are located. The reason this is important is because myonuclei, if you increase their numbers in the muscle, you are able to strengthen the muscle you currently have. It doesn't add new muscle fiber, but it will affect the muscle fiber that is currently there. So we actually read a study that indicated that steroid use can actually increase the amount of satellite cells in the muscle, which, like we discussed, means that you can start strengthening the muscle that is currently in your body. And in this study, they looked at people who were both treated with steroids and people who were untreated with steroids. In each of these groups, you had people who, one, either had a type of muscle dystrophy, or you had a type that was a control group who didn't have any kind of dystrophy. And they found that once they took biopsies from the treated samples, that they actually had an increased number of satellite cells surrounding the muscle fibers, and this indicates that they could have an increase in development of myonuclei and therefore a buildup of muscle in their body.
So now we're going to survey some fitness enthusiasts at the UREC on their knowledge of muscle development and steroids. So our first question is, do you think that there's a predisposition to muscle development, or do you think it's a matter of hard work?
I would say a lot of there is a decent amount of genetics, because there's a lot of people that work just as hard as I do and they don't get anywhere close to what I've accomplished in powerlifting.
I see the average guy, they'll come in here, they'll not try as hard as I would at least, and so they wouldn't gain any muscle, and they'll blame not only the workout, but they'll say working out's pointless. Yeah. And they say it's genetics as well.
Yeah, they always say that.
There's some kind of genetic link to some muscle building. Like, there's those cows with like the really big muscles.
The Belgian blue cows?
Yeah.
I think it can be a little bit of both. There are a lot of people that can gain muscle super fast and super easy, and then some people just have to work a little hard. But I don't think there's really something they're stopping from anybody.
Yeah, definitely work is like.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think that you could probably have a predisposition to muscle, and you can work at it.
There is a genetic predisposition. There are different types of human bodies out there, but when it comes to actual development of your own muscle, it depends on how hard you put in. There are different types of bodies. Some are easier to gain muscle mass than others. Some lose water weight quicker. Some gain fat and hold fat better than others do. But it depends on the person, the individual, and how hard they want to work.
What's your opinion on steroids?
There are steroids that they use in the medical field that do help muscle facilitation for people with certain diseases. Now, when it comes to recreational sports or exercising in general, steroids are not beneficial in the sense of the way that they're used or usually abused.
I mean, I think in athletics, it's unfair if everyone's not using steroids. It's unfair, but if everyone's like free range, then yeah, everyone uses steroids. But like in life, it's probably unhealthy in the long run. But
steroid usage, I'm not a big fan of it because I think it's kind of like cheating in a way, cheating yourself.
So, I don't know much about steroids except the harmful things that it does to you. I think that it's kind of a cheating way to get bigger, you know? Like, I think if you really want to like get bigger or like work on your muscle development, then you need to do that like by yourself without the help of like steroids, something that's illegal for a reason.
Some people don't have a problem with it. Some people think that it's genetically enhancing yourself in the incorrect way. It's enhancing your testosterone at the points where it's not natural, and so it's bad for you in the end after you're not taking it because you can't take it after a certain point. So, in my opinion, it's better just to go natural and just push yourself to.
Yeah, it's definitely better to go all natural.
Do you know how steroids work?
A little bit. Yeah, kind of, not really.
Not really? Okay.
Yeah.
They increase hormones.
I know like it makes guys want to work out a lot. Like I guess like increases like testosterone somehow.
I know it makes it easier for you to put on weight, muscle mass. I don't know if it's true, but I think it makes your temper very short.
I mean, there's multiple types of steroids. There's like oral steroids, which are metabolized by the liver and it turns into a steroid in the body. Then there's steroids that shoot up like a needle, which are an active steroid once it enters your body.
They do inhibit more amino acid pickup, which allows better muscle recovery and better muscle formation.
Steroids increase the satellite cells in our body. So what these satellite cells do is they create more myonuclei, which are like command centers basically.
Okay.
And so these command centers signal the satellite cells to go in and repair any muscle fiber that's either been damaged or like stretched out. And so the more satellite cells you have, the bigger, the stronger, the better your muscle fibers can be.